So the motto of the MEDIENTAGE München is media, trust and machines. And now we're talking about trust because some people say we live in an area of post-fact. So their facts are not truth anymore or not important anymore. And next to me, there's someone who invented fact-checking before it was cool, Bill Adair. So you built a website a couple of years ago with fact-checking. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about the website.
Sure, it's called PolitiFact. It's a project of an American newspaper called the Tampa Bay Times. And fact-checking had actually been around for a little while, but what we did is we presented it in a different way and used a rating scale called the Truthometer to rate political statements. So a politician would say something, we'd research it, and then we would rate its relative accuracy from true to false, or if it was really ridiculously false, it would get our lowest rating, pants on fire.
Is a little arrow moving like totally bullshit or true?
Yes, the arrow would go all the way down, and if it's a pants on fire, the Truthometer actually bursts into flames. So, and what we tried to do, and we tried to keep it lighthearted, but there's still serious journalism that is at the root of all this, where the fact checkers take a statement and objectively, because these are objective journalists, research it, talk to all different points of view, and then assess its overall accuracy and rate it on the Truthometer. PolitiFact's now been around for 10 years. We've rated more than 13,000 claims. It's the largest fact-checking effort in history, and it's also helped inspire all the fact-checking sites around the world. So,
and it's also a Pulitzer Prize-winning website.
It did win a Pulitzer Prize in 2009. That was definitely a big highlight for us. But I gotta say, seeing all the fact-checking around the world is really rewarding also. There's fact-checking here in Germany, there's lots of fact-checking in Italy and France and Spain and the UK, even in Iran. So there's a fact-checker in Iran that rates statements by Iranian politicians, although the journalists have to work from Canada to do that.
So we could say this is a kind of a quality control system for journalists themselves. But in the meanwhile, since we saw so many elections that were shaped through fake news and fake statements by politicians on air in live broadcast shows, so fact-checking became more and more important. But isn't there another challenge that the people who should use your website are not interested in facts anymore? They give a shit about facts.
Well, there's definitely a gap there where we're not reaching a large segment of people, particularly people, and I don't know that it's that they're not interested in facts, it's that they're not interested in facts that are contrary to their political viewpoint. So, and this is not anything new, you know, I liken it to sports, you know, your favorite football team. You're passionate, you're going to love your team no matter what. It's the same way in politics. And so when facts come up that are contrary to your beliefs, you're going to resist those facts. I don't think that's new, but what's new is that I think people are choosing not to seek out facts that are contrary, and that's something that we need to overcome.
But the quality of this situation, I think, came to a new level.
It did in the sense that social media has made it easier than ever to only hear the news that we want. So we can hear news from partisan sources and not have to worry about anything that makes our person look bad. And that's I think partisan news in particular becomes a breeding ground for exaggerations and falsehoods. That's why I always tell my students at Duke University that it's really important to get a balanced diet. You know, just like when you decide what you're going to eat every day, you don't only want to eat sweets and drink beer. You want to have a balanced diet, and so objective news should be the foundation of your balanced diet. and partisan interpretations of the news should be a relatively small part.
What do people think? What do people like Donald Trump think about your platform?
Well, Donald Trump loves fact-checking when it helps him, and so he has cited fact-checkers when they have called out Hillary Clinton for falsehoods. But then Trump has also called fact-checkers dishonest and, railed against us just like he has against so many in the media. And he can say what he wants. We'll continue fact-checking what he says. That's an important part of the media's role in our democracy in the United States, to hold people in power accountable.
So we have a lot of media people among our audience, so maybe this is for you. Can you give some recommendations how fact-checking works in the best way for journalists?
Sure. So fact-checking is not just for fact-checkers. So anyone who's doing a news story, if they hear a statement that they think might be wrong and they're going to put that in their news article, they should research it. So one tip is to make sure that you go to the person who made the claim and ask them for the source of that claim. That's something that in investigative reporting we tend to do last as a journalist. You gather all your information, then you go to the person. But in fact-checking, you go to that person first. So we go to the White House and say, hey, President Trump just made this claim. What's the basis of that? Where did he get the facts for that claim? So I think that's an important part. The other thing is to make sure that you talk to diverse sources, not just liberal sources, not just conservative sources, but to get a balance so that you hear different perspectives.
So, but if you don't get an answer by the White House, what do you do?
We will go to other sources. We'll go to independent groups, but we'll also go to groups that may be aligned with the White House, like a conservative think tank, and ask for their perspective on it.
And but you told me a little bit about more about different kinds of fact-checking. So your discipline is political fact-checking, but there's other kinds of fact-checking, like for scientists' data, or for is this picture, is this the real picture, or is it a fake picture? So are there different kinds of disciplines?
Yeah, so it used to be that when we thought of fact-checking, we thought of things like what Der Spiegel does, checking the each sentence in a magazine article. That's sort of editorial fact-checking. Then there is what is kind of sometimes known as like image verification. So you check an image, you see if it originated someplace else, if it's really what it's presented as on the web. And then there's political fact-checking, which is what PolitiFact does, what many other sites around the world do.
So you should check Political Fact, the website where you see the factometer, no, truthometer. A funny thing when you see pants on fire, I remember that. Pretty funny, but also serious topic, facts, what people say and where people lie. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.